At the doctor's office. I see this doctor once a month, and she prescribes medications and listens to me talk about how I am doing. Of course, I'd also tell her about what is happening to me, including on social media. Once I came to her at the appointed time, and in the corridor, there was a grandfather and a young man sitting next to him. The grandfather immediately called me a drug addict, on the grounds that I had a mustache and sideburns. Then he started telling me how good everything was under Soviet rule. Then he started yelling at me because I didn't say anything. After looking at my clothes, he decided that I was a Latvian who hadn't deigned to learn Russian. And then he started spewing nationalistic feces about the greatness of the Slavs, calling me a fascist. I immediately remembered Pasolini's movie about fascists and smiled, which made him even more excited. Even the guard came to a shouting. This man was asking me who the USSR was bothering, why it was ruined by assholes like me. The young man next to this subject put his palms around his head, trying to cover his ears. Noticing his maneuver, the old man wailed at him that he was a traitor, that he wanted to pay him off, send him money, and live in England with bourgeois scum. The doors in the office were made back in Soviet times. You could hear everything through them. As soon as the doctor saw him, she asked him to be quiet when he was about to prove that he was not crazy, that he would not allow his traitor son to put himself in a madhouse. The son said everything quickly. He didn't have much time. He told that his daddy does not give life to the neighbors since he retired, as well as terribly neglected the house, stopped washing, eats very rarely, constantly consumes low-quality alcohol in small doses, smokes a lot and almost no sleep. The poor guy hasn't gone anywhere further than the store under his windows in a long time and watches TV most of the time. When the doctor told him that he would have to go to the hospital for a couple of months, he cried out that they wanted to get rid of him, the fighter for justice and happiness of the great nation, and he would not let them do it. The guard, sighing tiredly, got up from his chair and invaded the office, just in case, taking off the stack from his belt. The grandfather suddenly became subdued, believed the doctor who told him everything would be all right, and walked briskly into the hospital waiting room. The son asked the doctor when his daddy would be free to take him to his home, that is, to England. She said that right after the sanatorium, it should not be done. The psyche, she said, is fragile, and a new crisis may start there. It should be done gradually. When I came into the office and was asked how I was doing, I simply showed one of the topics in this social network. Also cited a few dialogues with my classmates and dorm neighbors. I didn't quote my dad. I said that he should be hospitalized too. He loves Russia, lying on the couch in Riga and saying that the party was the mind, honor, and conscience of the era. She asked me what the hell I was doing on such social networks, said that with my diagnosis, I can't quite afford to be in a state of stress, and the fact that I'm trying to use the internet to develop immunity to such tantrums of my neighbors is quite risky on my part. What am I supposed to do? Ask her to lock me up in solitary confinement for the rest of my life, so I can do nothing but exercise and type everything I can into a desk. I'd be willing to do that myself. I'm not looking outside for what's inside anymore. The problem is that there are too many people who want such a thing. Most of the people of modern Latvia dream of it, for there are many things that were in the psychiatric hospital in their homeland. The main thing is stability. I used to be afraid of this stability, but then I realized that wherever I am, whatever I do, I am not threatened by it if its champions are not around. It would be eternal spring in my solitary confinement. My illness is that I am too sensitive to other people's pain, because I realize that in this world there can be no other people's problems, no other people's pain, everything is common, because everything is interconnected. What do I care about the problems of my roommates, my classmates, this grandfather in the psychoneurological clinic? I feel uncomfortable after that, and on a physical level. However, I feel the worst, especially when a person feels so sick that he does not know where to go, and he puts on a smile and talks all positive things about kittens. A smile on his face, showing new false teeth for 5,000, and the look of a cornered rat. Sometimes I get angry at people who generously share their painful sensations with me, and then say that they are doing everything right, that they are going to be happy, and at the same time they step on the same rake, and get terribly angry when I try to take it away. No way. This rake is my sanctuary. It's all I have. I'm used to it. It's very exciting and God-pleasing to step on it 100 times a day. They are proud of their broken foreheads. They laugh at each other secretly, but they do not notice their foolishness. Then that anger becomes nothing but pain in the body. About me, the doctor decided that it is better to isolate me from society, or rather to give me the opportunity to isolate myself. That is, if I have a pension a little more than I have now, I will have the opportunity to have no contact with anyone or to have contact until the first unpleasant sensations. For example, when I traveled, I related to people much better, for I had the opportunity to be sincere. It is easier for my friend to run around all day in all kinds of weather for metal, mushrooms, or berries than to get a job somewhere. I often ask him why he won't at least get a job in a small store for a couple months to read the newspaper behind the counter. It's not as hard as running around in the cold all day. Although I do remember the way he interacted with superiors or coworkers who tried to lay siege to the brash newcomer. He can't function in society, and I can't even get acclimated to social networking. No, to start typing properly, and what is proper, for example, holiday greetings and greeting cards, or swear words. In this school for the disabled, of course, I am not particularly pressed, but I know that if I live here a little longer, everything will end as it always does.